So that's a little fragment from Done by Craig DeAndrea, the trapper and I are working on at the moment. And actually I thought would be, instead of sending you videos and gigantic files, I would just create a video with not per se about this song, but just using the tuning to find other things. It's kind of an interesting tuning. Sort of a bland one. It's not like a super exciting tuning. But you know, you can find some very, very interesting stuff in here. Now, like maybe this approach is really obvious and maybe you already do it completely. But I thought I'd like go through just a few ideas that I found I use when I learn something to try and create something of my own in the same tuning, and just to basically have fun with it. And I think they're quite simple principles that you can apply across any tuning. Again, apologies if this is entirely obvious. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, I don't know. So if we just use this this tuning as an example, it's D, A, C, G, A, B, which is some kind of weird D7 sus9 chord, I guess. The song Done, though, is in the key of C. There's no sharps or flats. So I'm just going to pretend that we're only playing on the white notes on the guitar and finding those white notes where they are and ideas for using them. I think this tuning could probably also work in other keys where all the open strings are in, like G, for example. But I'm not trying to go in, I haven't even explored that yet myself. So let's just say that we're going to play in C. So idea one, to orient where the notes are in the key itself, the easiest thing to do is just to find out where the half steps are. Because if you know where the half steps are, then everything else is a whole step between those. And the half step's also where all the fiddly bits are, right? Because that's a half step as opposed to a whole step. So easy, if the song is in C, there's no sharps or flats, so it's just C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So the first thing we'll do is just go through each string and just essentially just work out where the half steps are. So if we take the top string, that's E, so it's half step F, G, A, B, half step C, D, E, half step F, G. The next string, the second string is A, B, half step C, D, E, half step F, G, A, B, half step C. Next one's G, G, A, B, half step C, D, E, half step F, G, etc. Right, so if you just I just go through those and work out where those half steps are, so I kind of know where they are, and then that tells you where the notes are, also tells you where the clangers are as well, because every other place you might find is a clanger if it's not one of those notes. So that's the first idea in itself. That's not very useful, but hopefully it will become useful when you link it to idea 2 and idea 3. So idea 2, find the big chords. I mean, generally speaking, on the guitar, we're playing a bass note and we're playing stuff on the top. And it's great to find those. Now the first 2 notes, which is D and A, are the 5th, so that's a power chord. So we can find the power chords in C very easily. I'll start at F because it's close to the bottom, so that's F, G, A, B. Now this is going to have a slightly different sound. It's a flat 5th if you do it properly. Craig uses this, uses a B chord in Done, but he actually uses a flat 6th, which just sounds a bit better. And then they're on those notes. To get to proper chords, though, if you like, right? Let's just skip over the fourth string, that's C, and go to the G string. So that's there. That's a suspended. That's a fourth. That gives us a suspension sound. Very, 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 very common to have a suspension, so you can go major or minor. But because it's a fourth, that means if you go one fret down on that string from the bass string, that's going to give you a major third, 2 frets down to give you a minor third. So if you go back to what we played before, now we can add the third to the F. G with a major third. By the way, the seventh is right there if you want it. It's on that, because that's a flat seventh. That's the relationship of the fourth string to the sixth string. So that's G7, A minor, B minor again, flat fifth, C, okay, so all the chords are there. Now if we go to the second string, this is a repeat of the fifth string, right? So that's always going to be a fifth in relation to that first chord. So now you've got, if you just have that on the top of the same fret, and then the third on this third string, you've got a good strong chord. So now you've got, using these, so yeah, this is an F, G, that's idea two, and you don't have to go from the lowest string. Obviously, you can go from the next string or even the one afterwards. Right? So let's just take the A string and just use this to illustrate like idea three. So idea three is looking for the relationships on adjacent strings, right, as opposed to distant strings, so the ones next to each other. So you just actually start just with the A and C. So A and C, C is a minor third of A, so that's a minor third there. So therefore we know that if we go up one, it's going to be a major third. So there's another C. There, right there. So let's make it a little bit more interesting. Let's go to the higher notes. So let's go to the G and A, the third and second strings. I've got the notation right. So that's one step. You're one step apart, so that means if I go one fret up, that's going to be a minor third. If I go 2 frets up, it's a major third. So that's it. It's G string, 2 frets up is an A. So there I have an A minor chord. I can keep the A on the bass, and I can move this within the key. So let's put a D. Let's put it there's an A chord with an A on the bass. Now that's a B chord with A on the bass. So those are all there, and then you can obviously use those for decoration or intrinsic part of them. But actually, one of the things I think it's really cool is that you take that A minor, then you can start to add bass notes to it as well. It's got that one, which allows you to sort of feel the relationship between chords. So as that stands with A on the bass there, playing on the 5th string. But then if I change the bass and I have F, now I've got F on the bass, and actually it's now an F major chord. This is actually the same chord as we used before. Sorts of stuff very, very easily from that, and that's not even thinking about like different techniques. So I'll call it a day there, but just before I finish, it's just as an example of using this hand for the bass and the other hand for the top. So we could do something like. So like hours of fun, just using those three simple things. Okay, let me know what you think. Is this useful? Is this entirely obvious? Cheers, boys.